Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a really fascinating idea, a hidden code that claims to connect, well, pretty much everything, from simple numbers to divine texts, all through a single mathematical formula.
I mean, think about it for a second. What if all of that stuff was actually linked? Well, we're exploring a system from our source material that proposes exactly that. Okay, let's get into this.
At the very heart of this is the author's central claim. Translated from Malay, it says, all logical relevance equals all truth equals all mathematics. Now, that is a bold statement. It suggests that the universe has this underlying logical mathematical framework that connects everything.
So, to even begin to understand a claim that big, we first need to get a handle on a core concept the author introduces. They call it munasabaha.
And the source is really clear on this point. This isn't about traditional numerology or, mysticism. It's about a proposed logical framework it calls munasaba, which basically means relevance or appropriateness. It's all about finding the built-in connections between things.
The whole system, this entire framework, is built on a very simple foundation, the numbers 1 through 9. But as you'll see, one of those numbers holds a really special place.
So, the system starts with the most basic building blocks you could imagine, our numbers from 1 to 9. It's interesting, they even point out that the number 5 is the physical midpoint here. But the really significant pattern emerges when you add all of these up.
The sum, as you can see, is 45. But the system's logic doesn't just stop there. It takes this one crucial step further. You take the digits of 45, 4 plus 5, and you get 9. And according to the author, this number, 9, is everything. It represents cohesiveness, or you could think of it as the glue that holds the entire framework together. From there, the logic builds a kind of bridge, something that connects these abstract numbers to the physical world we actually live in.
To do this, it pulls out 3 specific numbers, 3, 4, and 5. Now that combination should ring a bell. It's the famous Pythagorean triple from ancient Greece. So why these 3? Well, because they form the simplest right-angled triangle, and that links these numerical patterns to a really fundamental geometric principle.
And this is where it gets pretty profound. The author claims that this aligned geometry reveals interconnected dimensions of destiny. It's supposed to represent a kind of harmony between pure order and what they call beautiful chaos. It's really where the math starts to meet metaphysics. Okay, now the system introduces what might be its most mysterious element. It's a unique sequence that's described as having Fibonacci-like properties. At first glance, this sequence just looks, well, kind of random, right? The source calls it Fibonacci-like, and yeah, it does contain a few actual Fibonacci numbers, like 5, 21, and 89, but the sequence as a whole seems to follow its own distinct, hidden logic.
So, according to the source, the real magic happens when you stop looking at these as individual numbers. Instead, you just kind of string them all together, and you end up with this incredibly long number. Then, the source says you need to split it up in a very specific way.
So that giant number gets broken down into these 3 distinct sections. And the source claims this isn't arbitrary at all, but it follows a precise logic that was embedded in that original sequence. Then, you just add these 3 new numbers together. And look at that. The sum is exactly 999,999, a perfect repeating string of 9s. Now, this isn't presented as a coincidence. It's shown as the calculated outcome of the sequence's hidden rules. So, the big question is, why this number? What's so special about it? Well, this is the moment where the whole framework connects that purely mathematical result to a much more spiritual interpretation. From a mathematical standpoint, the number 999,999 is pretty cool. It's deeply connected to what are called cyclic numbers. For instance, if you divide it by 7, you get 142,857. Those are the famous repeating digits in the fraction 1/7. And you see a similar pattern with 113. It's a number with some really profound mathematical properties. The author then takes this mathematical discovery and connects it to a huge moment in Islamic tradition, the 96th chapter of the Quran, which is believed to be the very first divine revelation. And all of this focus on the number 9, of course, brings us here, to the number 99. The system directly links the repeating 9s in its big result to the 99 names of Allah, which is a core concept in Islam representing divine attributes.
So, how does this all fit together? How does it become what the source calls a new mathematics?
When you lay it all out, you can really see the formula they're proposing. It starts with the basics, numbers 1 through 9, all unified by the cohesive power of 9. Then, it connects to the physical world through geometry. It uses a very unique sequence that resolves perfectly into a number that's then linked to divine revelation. And the whole thing is held together by that core principle of munasaba, logical relevance.
And that brings us full circle, right back to that central claim, a universe where every logical connection is a form of truth, and where all of that truth can be spoken in the language of mathematics. You know, the source material presents this as a complete and logical system. They're not calling it mysticism, but a new form of math. And it kind of leaves us with this big question, right? Are we looking at the actual threads of some hidden cosmic code? Or is this just an incredible testament to our own powerful search for meaning in the numbers that surround us every day?